Hello and welcome to the 160th photography podcast. Got it right that time. First time as well. Really pleased. It's another episode and this one's about lockdown. And this one is not a sad one about lockdown. It's about the potentials within lockdown. So let me explain. So I've done no shooting whatsoever in lockdown. I've done no photography. I've done more video work and I've done more video stuff for YouTube. And that has centered on video production. So unboxing and reviews of video cameras and other things. I just don't feel I can do photography at the moment. And today's question really is, what can you do now in England? So I live in England. England is in the UK, and there are, I think, 4 governments within the UK. There's England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Ireland is not in the UK, but it's next to Northern Ireland. And even including Ireland, each government will have a separate policy on lockdown. This Wednesday, the English government relaxed things ever so slightly, and they said you can go and talk to people 2 meters away. Or this was my recollection. I'm not an expert. I haven't checked. I haven't gone and verified this, so please don't take my words as absolute. And of course, do not forget that this podcast will be up forever and things will change in the future. So please don't take what I'm saying as absolute and current advice. So as of Wednesday, as I recollect, you can exercise more. You not just one exercise trip outside. You can go to a park. You can meet people, but stay 2 meters away from them. But you can't play team sports and stuff. That got me thinking, is it now practical to do a shoot in lockdown? Now, I've seen many models offering remote shoots. So potentially you could do a remote shoot and potentially you could go and meet someone to do a fashion shoot with them as long as you stay 2 meters apart. I'm not saying I would do this because I don't know whether I'd do it, and I probably wouldn't be going out to do shoots at the moment, nor engaging in remote shoots. But it did get me thinking, how would it be done? So if you want to do remote shoots, the model would need to have a camera. It's not difficult. It could be a smartphone, it could be a DSLR, but they would need to have a camera and you would need to connect online. So if they only have a smartphone, you could do a shoot over FaceTime or Skype or whatever other platform wants to be used. And you could basically, if you have a very good monitor like a Mac, you could take a picture using your DSLR of the monitor, and then you could take it in RAW and develop the images that way. Obviously, a poor internet quality and a not very good monitor would give a pixelated image, but you could shoot that way. I've seen models advertising for shoots where they've got a DSLR and they would do remote shooting that way. So the way you could do that is if the model has a DSLR set up and they have it tethered to a computer and you connect via something like Skype, it's possible to, with their consent, take over their computer. I don't take over sounds such a nasty thing, but take actions on their computer. So you could focus the camera, you could change the settings, and you could effectively press that shutter button. They could set flash up and you could do a shoot, and then later they could send you the RAW files or the JPEGs or whatever you want. So it is possible to do that type of shoot. Personally, I wouldn't want to do that type of shoot. I wouldn't find it particularly engaging. I would feel it quite restrictive, and I'm not that desperate that I want to shoot that I would take that avenue. The next thing, of course, is meeting someone and doing a shoot. So let's take doing portraiture or a fashion shoot. Could quite easily be 2 meters away and do photography in a successful shoot of the person. 2 meters away, you can easily hear each other. You can go out. The advice in England is you can go and meet people, but not inside. It has to be outdoors. So if you wanted to do that, it's possible. But what I would recommend is that you go to a public place, obviously, and you probably don't worry about flash. So I would normally take flash kit with me, and I'd have softbox and stuff. Make your life easier. You don't want people coming into contact. You don't want to have to go and keep adjusting your flashes. Your flashes would have to be 2 meters away from the model, etc., etc. Just use natural light and take a reflector if you need to. Also, pay and do any contracts in advance digitally. So you shouldn't be handing over cash on the day if you're paying for a model. You shouldn't be getting them to sign a piece of paper. You could technically do it with social distancing, but do it all in advance or afterwards and do it digitally. Choose location where it's not going to be busy. If it's sunny, everyone's going to be out taking advantage of the nice weather if they've been cooped up for a long time. So pick a location where it's not going to be busy. You can easily stay 2 meters apart and you can both get to without having to use public transport. You don't really want to be using public transport. It's not an essential thing doing a photography shoot. So somewhere you can walk to or somewhere you can both get to in a car. Talking about busy, the time of day is going to affect how busy it is. So early in the morning, after sunrise, or late in the afternoon before sunset are better times to shoot anyway because they're golden hour, but it's going to be less busy. You don't want to be shooting at midday because the light's not very good anyway. Probably the key thing for keeping both people safe and comfortable and happy is to agree in advance what 2 meters is. You don't want to continuously be discussing 2 meters and saying, oh, step back, do you mind if I come closer? Agree in advance what 2 meters is. Maybe you agree that we're going to be safe and we're going to do 3 meters, but agree how you measure it, how you're going to police it, and how you're going to stick to it. So even with those things, I'm not advising you go and shoot. I'm not advising how to shoot. I'm not advising how to do it and how to shoot. I'm just discussing ideas I've had about how you could do it. But I probably won't be shooting. I won't be doing a remote shoot. I won't be doing a fashion or portrait shoot. An interesting thing is if you're going out for a walk and you take your camera, is that okay? I personally can't see anything wrong with it as long as you maintain social distancing. The sort of things where you would get street photography, I don't think that would work. Street photography you can do from a distance, but street photography tends to be a closer thing, getting into the action with a wide angle lens. You can of course do it from a distance. You can of course do it with a telephoto lens. Look a bit creepy doing it with a telephoto lens. So probably I wouldn't be doing street photography. Again, if I lived in a certain location and I was out for a walk and I wanted to do a long walk, I could take my camera and I could do landscape photography. But I don't live in that type of location and I'm not a big fan of landscape photography anyway. So those are my thoughts on now doing shoots in lockdown, how it would work and how you can do it. But of course, we all live in different locations. People listen around the world to this podcast. So please consider your safety. Please don't do anything reckless. And please remember that each country and each region of a country may have different rules and regulations that you'll need to follow. My next episode, I'm going to make sure is not a lockdown specific episode to keep things a bit brighter. But I hope you found that helpful and stay safe. Try and do some photography if you can, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.